The 2024 UCLA Bruins were one of the more inconsistent teams in college football last year. They had some really nice moments and looked competitive in a number of games that they probably shouldn't have been in, but they really struggled to build any momentum and ultimately ended up finishing with a 5-7 record and missing out on a bowl game. The Bruins were not void of talent, and they have a player who has been generating quite a bit of buzz entering the 2025 draft cycle, and that is linebacker Carson Schwesinger. Schwesinger put up some really solid numbers in 2024 for UCLA, and in a linebacker class that isn't the deepest, how high could we see him taken in the 2025 NFL Draft? And that is what we will be discussing in today's video. But hey guys, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon page, where for just $5 a month, you guys will get exclusive access to my in-depth draft guide and big board with over 500 prospects and scouting reports available, as well as all the stats, data, and measurement information you guys need to help you be successful this draft cycle. It is one of the best resources on the market, and I highly recommend you guys checking it out. Leave a comment on this video and let me know which prospects you guys want in a future episode, and without further ado, let's get into it. Schwesinger has been a bit of a late riser in this draft process. He really never saw the field much in the first 2 years of his career, playing in just 101 snaps. But his 2024 season, he really made a name for himself. He played in 705 snaps for the Bruins and posted 100 tackles, 18 pressures, 50 run stops, and 2 interceptions and 2 pass breakups in coverage. And now I've seen him being taken as high as linebacker 1 in this draft class, and he has had a major rise on a lot of people's boards. The first thing that really pops off on tape is just how explosive of an athlete that Schwesinger is. He has absolutely fantastic quickness, and he showcases some fluid hips and great change of direction as well. His speed, short area burst, and his overall movement skills you could put up there with just about any linebacker in the draft class. I think he is a fantastic athlete who is going to get drafted highly strictly because of that. It's not that Schwesinger is just a good athlete though. I really felt like UCLA found really unique ways to tap into it. As a blitzer, I thought he was really good. He triggered quickly, and he made some great plays when coming downhill and was able to force the quarterback out of the pocket. He also showed that same athleticism and quickness as a run defender. He has fantastic closing ability, and I love that. He's also an incredibly reliable tackler who just didn't have many missed tackles on tape. He only had a 7.6% missed tackle rate in 2024, which is incredibly solid for a linebacker who saw just as much usage as Schwesinger did. I also really like what he does in zone coverage, and I know this is going to be a talking point around him throughout the draft cycle, and while it's not perfect, I think his eyes are really good and he shows really solid instincts. He's obviously got ball skills, putting up 2 interceptions and 2 pass breakups, but I think he does a really nice job of roaming the middle of the field, reading the quarterback's eyes, and reacting. Like I said, it's not all the way there yet. He does tend to bite a little bit, but I think the upside is there, and he definitely shows some nice positives in that area. There are a couple of areas I really want to see improvement on. For one, I think Schwesinger is really small. I know there's really no such things as an undersized linebacker in today's NFL, but Schwesinger definitely toes the line. He's listed at 6'2", 225 pounds, and at 225, that just worries me. I'd love to see him add on 5 to 10 pounds of muscle just to get a little bit bigger, because he does look pretty wiry on the field at times, and I'd like to see him bulk up at the next level. I also worry about the play strength. There were so many times on tape when Schwesinger really struggled to get off of blocks, and that worries me. He's not an amazing block shedder, and I don't think he really has a ton of play strength right now. And if he's going to be a starting caliber linebacker of the NFL, that's got to get better. I also want to see him improve his run angles. He would oftentimes get a good pursuit angle, and he just wasn't able to close quickly enough, and I'd like to see him be a little bit more disciplined as a run defender and not overextend as much. Schwesinger is getting a lot of hype, and given his athleticism, you see why. He's got some awesome traits for an NFL linebacker, but I'm unsure if he's going to be an instant contributor. If I was an NFL GM, I would draft Schwesinger highly, but I don't think I would play him right away. He only has 1 year of playing experience up to this point, he's still unpolished in coverage, and he's not super strong right now. That being said, the tools are awesome, and I think his upside is just as high as any linebacker in this draft. He's my number 5 linebacker in the draft class and my number 76 overall prospect. In terms of a scheme fit, I think Schwesinger can play just about anywhere in a 4-3 scheme, but I would probably play him as a Sam linebacker. One where he can come downhill as a blitzer, play the run lanes, and be used to snuff out screens a little bit more on the strong side. Given how talented he is as a blitzer, I think that's where NFL teams are ultimately going to play him, but I wouldn't be shocked that with his lack of play strength, if he ends up playing more on the will side and playing as a weak side blitzer in those situations just until he can get a little bit stronger. My player comparison for Carson Schwesinger is former Dallas Cowboys linebacker Sean Lee. Lee was a beast for Dallas for a long time, and he was never the biggest. Both Schwesinger and Lee have almost identical measurables across the board, but Lee had fantastic athleticism, was a reliable tackler, and a very smart player. Schwesinger brings that at the next level, and like I said, if he develops properly, could be an absolute monster in the NFL. Carson Schwesinger is a downhill monster. He plays fast, he's got great tools, and some really high upside. The ceiling is there, despite not having the highest floor, and ultimately, I believe that Carson Schwesinger will be a 3rd-round pick in the 2025 NFL Draft.